Coming up on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The reasons couples should put Christ at the center of their marriage. I'm Carolee McGrath. I'll have the story.
I'm Steve Kiltonic. I'll have the story of how some local fuel assistance agencies like Catholic Charities are coping with a frigid winter and the high cost of oil.
And the one-year anniversary of Pope Benedict's historic announcement. These stories and more are just ahead on this edition of Reel to Reel.
From throughout Western New England and beyond, this is Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you. Here is your Reel to Reel host, Sharon Roulier.
Hello and welcome to Reel to Reel. Well, another week and another batch of snow and freezing temperatures. This harsh winter has been tough on everyone, both physically with the sub-zero temperatures and snowstorms we've been experiencing, and monetarily with the high cost of heating oil. But it's been particularly difficult for those with limited incomes. Steve Kiltonic begins our program today with a visit to several fuel assistance agencies to find out how, with budgets already stretched to the limit, they're keeping up with the increased fuel demand.
The winter of 2013 and 2014 has been one of the coldest on record in western Massachusetts. January saw temperatures in the single digits or below when factoring in the wind chill. Much of the bone-chilling weather was a result of the polar vortex, which brought freezing Arctic cold day after day to much of the Northeast, Midwest, and even the South. As a result, millions of people cranked up the heat much earlier than usual, and fuel assistance agencies have since struggled to keep up with the increased demand. And with the price of heating oil hovering near $4 a gallon, people with low incomes have been particularly hard hit. Catholic Charities is one agency that provides emergency fuel assistance to needy individuals and families. Its funding comes mainly from the generosity of parishioners and the Springfield Diocese through its annual Catholic Appeal. Catherine Buckley-Bronner is the executive director.
It has been probably one of the hardest years in terms of the need, and it also has been an equally hard year because we only have limited funding.
Last July 1st, the beginning of the fiscal year, she realized things were going to be much different this winter.
Within the first quarter, we had served already, or had come to our door already, triple the amount of people that we had had from the year before.
Around April, when people start to fall behind on their electric or gas bills, shut-off notices go out.
As we're going into the fall, people are looking forward to the cold weather, and they realize, oh my gosh, I've got these shut-off notices, I have children, I have the elderly. It just became very overwhelming for us.
When the cold weather hit, thermostats went up and people started to use up fuel at a much higher rate.
People who had electrical and gas bills, the gas bills and electric bills were just shooting and skyrocketing out of sight, so they were coming for assistance as well.
Buckley-Bronner said she had to create waiting lists and prioritize based on vulnerability.
The elderly and families with children certainly take priority, but then we had to look at, how imminent were the shut-offs. Was the family already without fuel or without electrical service? We work with the federal poverty guidelines. Some of our programs are poverty guideline driven, and some of our other programs are average medium income driven. And so there's not one formula that fits all.
Realizing their existing funds were going to fall short, Catholic Charities reached out to the Valley Gives program for the first time.
It was an additional month of emergency assistance that would be available to us, funding. So we're very, very grateful for that.
At the New England Farm Workers Council, the situation is just as critical.
Fuel assistance.
Lisa Gilhooly said the agency is also struggling to keep her Springfield clients warm this winter.
I think it's been a hard year. Every year is a hard year. There's just not enough money, and every year they cut our budget a little bit more.
She said their federally funded Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, which helps eligible households pay a portion of winter heating bills, is down $1 million from last year. Oil prices fluctuate, but this month it costs about $3.94 a gallon, up 11 cents from a year ago.
So the benefit levels are lower, price of oil is higher. Our clients that heat with oil, kerosene, propane, their benefit level is not lasting. They maybe get one fill and then that's it. And that lasts maybe a month, 6 weeks. All these people that got a delivery in November now have no more funds left.
Gilhooly said they have already processed 11,000 applications this winter and served almost 5,000 clients. But once the money allocated is used up, there is nothing more she can do except refer people to other agencies. Sometimes elderly on a limited or fixed income have to make some difficult decisions about life's basic necessities, often juggling fuel, food, and even medicine.
Just last week we had someone who was going to have to pay for 100 gallons of oil, and her statement was, well, I can't go grocery shopping. One of the most difficult things that we hear down here is they have to make a decision not to take medicines that are there to help them to save their lives because they have to purchase oil so they don't freeze. We get a lot of calls, young children in the house, newborns in the house. They have to have heat, you know, and there's only so much we can do.
One elderly woman who came to Catholic Charities for the first time did not want to be identified, but was willing to talk.
Even though I've taken a lot of preventive measures in terms of, maintaining a particular temperature control, keeping the drapes closed, making sure that certain things have been weatherized, I still find that it's been a challenge to maintain optimum levels of oil because of the severe cold that we've been experiencing.
On a fixed income, a health issue also impacted Samantha's finances. Now she is extremely careful how her money is spent.
Because of the high cost of the oil, it's been cost prohibitive to get a full tank of oil. I have a 275-gallon tank, and I find that I'm only able to purchase 100-gallon increments for oil this season.
Buckley Bronner says Catholic Charities has helped over 250 households this winter, but she's not optimistic they'll be better off next year.
I would imagine come September and October of this coming fiscal year, we will be at least in the same position we were this last year, if not worse.
She adds that no matter what the situation, no one should feel ashamed to seek help.
There's always going to be those folks that will walk around with their hands out constantly. There's another high percentage of people for whom this takes a great deal of courage to admit that they need help and to come and seek it. And so one of the things that we try to do here is make sure that no matter what you're doing here, the dignity piece stays with you.
For Reel to Reel, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
And you can find more ways on how you can help by checking out our website, iobserve.org. This past week also marked the one-year anniversary of Pope Benedict's announcement that he would retire, a decision which Boston Globe editor John Allen recently called the most revolutionary action in the modern history of the papacy. Catholic News Service looks back now on this anniversary.
I was in the aula when the Holy Father made his surprising blockbuster announcement.
I suddenly thought, what's going on here? And I did, as a matter of fact, think that the unthinkable might be happening, and that is his resignation.
So it was for us a surprise, like thunder that gives no notice that it's coming. The cardinals, each one looked at the other in silence, in surprise, but it was clear what he said.
It had to be a wrenching decision for him to make, The fact that he is certain he made the right decision, I'm quite sure he is certain of that, still doesn't change the emotions.
The Holy Father was telling us that we don't need to wait for the future. In our freedom, we can create the future.
He loves the church so much that he thinks it's better for the church that he leave and another person take over this heavy burden.
The church remains, and the rock is firm. Peter and his successors will always be a reference point for a confused culture. And I think that's a great gift, which maybe we take for granted. And I hope these are teaching moments for us. We should plumb them and get the most we can out of them for our own spiritual benefit and for our own enrichment of faith.
And remember, you can stay informed on the papacy of Pope Francis through our news and information website, iobserve.org. Still to come on Reel to Reel, Mark Giza joins us with his picks and predictions for the upcoming Academy Awards. And we mark Valentine's Day weekend with a profile on 2 long-wedded couples. These stories and more are still to come on this edition of Reel to Reel.
The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection. I'm Passionist Brother Terrence Scanlon, your Chalice host, inviting you to take time out of your busy life to celebrate God's goodness with us each Sunday morning. This week, Monsignor Christopher Conley joins us as we celebrate the 6th Sunday in Ordinary Time. The Chalice of Salvation, your weekly spiritual connection, Sunday morning at 10, right here on 22 News, WWLP.
For 2,000 years, we've helped the poor and comforted the sick. We've educated generations of children, developed the scientific method and college system. We support marriage and human life. Guided by the Holy Spirit, we compiled the Bible. We are the Catholic Church, with over 1 billion in our family, sharing in the fullness of Christian faith in the church started by Jesus. If you've been away, visit CatholicsComeHome.org today. Welcome home.
I'm Dan Dumas with your Reel to Reel news brief. This past week, the Holyoke City Council Ordinance Committee sent back to the city's Historic Commission a proposed new historic district, which would include the former Madre Dolorosa Church and Convent, along with the current school and social center. Citing lack of proper notification of hearings held last year, the Ordinance Committee instructed that a new public hearing be held. Members of Our Lady of the Cross Parish, which control the former Madre Dolorosa properties, have, since recently learning of the city's plans, steadfastly protested the inclusion of their properties, saying it would create an unfair financial burden. The effort is believed to be orchestrated by Chicopee attorney and resident Victor Anup and disgruntled former members of Madre Dolorosa Parish, none of whom would actually live within the proposed district. You can read more online at iobserve.org. In other news, Latino men gathered last fall to celebrate their faith. Terry Haggerty reports.
The Diocese of Springfield's Catholic Latino ministry was on full display at the College of Our Lady of the Elms in Chicopee as the annual Latino Men's Conference took place there. The day-long celebration featured prayer, music, testimonials, and formal presentations.
I thought I needed some boost in my faith, I guess, and a way to adore our Lord Jesus Christ. It's been a very, very fulfilling morning.
Approximately 80 men attended the conference.
This is our 3rd annual men's conference in Spanish, and the title is Passing the Torch of Faith. And it's been, after all the hours planning and the meetings, finally I see the success today with the beautiful day and the beautiful gathering that we have here this afternoon too.
The activities took place in the basement auditorium of the Elms College Library. Hector Rodriguez was one of the presenters. He was active in the Catholic Church as a young man, but says that he dropped out for a number of years before coming back. His talk was about the prodigal son.
Just like the prodigal son, you have a lot of these men that have fallen away from the church, the Catholic Church, and the whole purpose was to try to bring them back with a passion for the Lord and for the church.
Andres says that the day was enriching, and he hopes that participants will enrich others.
That we go back to our parishes, our homes, and practice our faith as Catholics.
Andres is already planning for next year's conference and praying for an even greater participation.
Finally, this past week also marked World Day for the Sick, an event which coincides with the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes. The Hampton West Deanery marked the day with a special gathering. Dave Martin has that story.
More than 100 parishioners and community members participated in a local World Day of the Sick Mass at St. Francis Xavier Cabrini Parish in West Springfield on the Feast of Our Lady of Lourdes. This annual event originated in 1992 by Pope John Paul II and has been celebrated at the Vatican and throughout the world since.
The major part of today is to say suffering is part of humanity, and we don't necessarily like it, but it's reality, so we have to embrace it. And we embrace it through Christ holding Mary's hand, Joseph's hand, our guardian angel, our patron saints, and we allow Christ to redeem us.
The evening began with Eucharistic adoration. Eugene Murphy, a Eucharistic minister at Blessed Sacrament Parish in Holyoke, was attending in thanksgiving for his wife, who had had cancer 3 times and is currently in remission. Eugene was hoping to receive many graces and blessings from the Sacred Heart and Holy Eucharist.
On my part, like in the Soldiers' Home, I'm a Eucharistic minister there every Tuesday, and I have the opportunity to share my, my compassion and love towards the sick and the suffering, and I hope I'm doing the best I can.
The World Day of the Sick Mass is a deanery event, and several deacons from the Springfield Diocese participated in the sacramental healing of body, mind, and soul. After the Mass, everyone was called to the altar to receive the sacrament of the sick, in which deacons offered them blessings and healing using holy oils. Later, the Holy Rosary was prayed. In West Springfield, I'm David Martin.
And remember to stay informed on all the happenings in the Catholic Church. Log on to iobserve.org, our news and information website. There you'll find up-to-the-minute and accurate news on the Catholic Church, both here in the Diocese of Springfield and beyond. You can also see video reports from Reel to Reel and from the award-winning team at Catholic News Service. That's our news and information website, iobserve.org. I'm Dan Dumas, and that's your Reel to Reel News Brief.
It's time for Hollywood to hand out those little golden statues. But being a critic, I have my own personal favorites. Here are my choices for the best performances of 2013 and who I think Hollywood will give that Oscar to. Best Supporting Actress. If I had my choice, Jennifer Lawrence would have another Oscar for her crazy, over-the-top role in American Hustle. But this year's winner will be Lupita Nyong'o for her 12 Years a Slave performance. The role was well done, and yes, she's a new upcoming star, so everything is in her corner.
I stink so much I make myself gag. 500 pounds of cotton, day in, day out, more than any man here. And for that I will be clean. That's all I ask.
Best Actress. Winning every award under the sun, Cate Blanchett will walk home with Oscar #2 for her amazing role in Blue Jasmine. Cate plays such an amazing range in this film, and because she does it with such class and style, Hollywood will crown her Queen of the Night again.
No, I have
never been to San Francisco. I'll be staying with my sister.
Jasmine! Oh my God.
Look at you. Your place is homey. Oh, the flight was bumpy. The food was awful. I mean, you'd think first class.
I thought you were tapped out.
I'm dead broke. Really, I mean, the government took everything.
All I can say is you look great.
Now who's lying?
Best Actor. Matthew McConaughey did everything an actor should do for a role with such power. He lost weight, stole our hearts, and proved everyone should be taken for what they are. I loved his work in Dallas Buyers Club, but my choice is Bruce Dern for his work in Nebraska. In this film, Dern is so real, we feel like we are watching our own friend on the big screen. Yes, Matt, you will probably win, but Bruce was the real deal for me.
I'm not staying there.
Dad, I can't let you go.
It's none of your business.
Yes, it is. I'm your son.
Well, then why don't you take me?
I can't just drop everything and drive to Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, what else you got going on?
Best Picture. Okay, this is a hard one. Will they go for raw emotion like shown in 12 Years a Slave, or an off-the-wall comedy with a touch of drama in American Hustle? Well, I think the Oscar voters will give the big prize to 12 Years a Slave, because it's just the type of film Oscar voters love to give Oscars to, a big over-the-top drama. My choice is a simple film, Nebraska, which doesn't have a prayer. But we'll just have to wait till March 2nd to find out the winners. And you can see my reviews, as well as read other movie reviews provided by the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops online at iobserve.org. That's iobserve.org. Recently, I just came back from California with my son Harrison as we attended the Critics' Choice Awards in beautiful Santa Monica. It was a great night. In this picture, you'll see Oscar nominees Bruce Dern and June Squibb, both from my favorite film of the year, Nebraska. What a night. Champagne, caviar, and 85-degree temperatures. And now we're back to New England snow. For Real Culture, I'm Mark Giza. Enjoy this terrific weekend.
Yesterday, Valentine's Day, wrapped up National Marriage Week. The U.S. bishops designated this past week to focus on the importance of the sacrament of marriage and the gift it is to couples and to society. Reel to Reel's Carolee McGrath introduces us now to two couples witnessing to Christ's love through their marriage.
Very good at this time. I am. Some of my specialties.
Tom and Gail Finnegan have been married for 52 years. They say it hasn't always been easy, but looking at them, you might agree that it's a match made in heaven.
Tell me about your wife.
My wife? Okay. Where would you like me to start?
Well, she's the best thing that ever happened to you, yes?
Yeah, it's definitely the best thing, yep. It was a pretty easy choice to make when we met. I think we decided very quickly that this was going to be a lifelong journey for both of us.
Tom is a retired attorney. Gail was a stay-at-home mom and a busy one, raising their 6 children. Together, they've made sure that their children and now their grandchildren see their love for each other and their love for Christ.
You know, everyone was put on earth has a vocation of some sort. You know, some may be to religious life or the priesthood. Some may be to the single life, but others are chosen to have the vocation of marriage. You know, again, and the idea of marriage is to procreation, and also to have companionship throughout your married life, and and as I say, the idea of both of those things playing out is to get everybody to heaven.
To say that Tom and Gail live their faith would be an understatement. They go to Mass every day. They teach adult Catholic education at St. Cecilia's Parish in Wilbraham. They also teach RCIA, or the Rite of Christian Initiation for adults who are coming into the church. They're in charge of adoration at the parish. They're involved in the pro-life ministry, and they help lead discussions for the Moms Group, a prayer group for mothers.
it's very important to involve the Lord in your marriage, and if you don't, you're really going to be in trouble, I think. And we do a lot of praying, a lot of praying.
Tom and Gail say that couples should look to the Holy Family as a model, where you have Mary and Joseph and Jesus in the middle. They say it's critical to put Christ at the center of your marriage.
To be my wife, I promise to be true to you.
This week, Father Daniel Seimer, the parochial vicar of St. Cecilia's, did a special blessing and had couples renew their vows at Mass to celebrate National Marriage Week. The week has been celebrated since 2002. The U.S. bishops say this is a great time to put the focus on the true gift of marriage.
Why is it important to have Christ in the center of your marriage and pray together and take it seriously?
Because Christ is the center of our life, and that's why it's important in every aspect of our life, especially when God, the sacrament of marriage, is that sacrament that the priest is not doing that sacrament. It's those two people that love each other, and they say the vows. I, as a priest, I am just a witness, and I bless that marriage, and I am the church witness. But the spouses, the future wife and a husband, they say that vows, they say that sacrament to each other, and they invite Christ to be with them.
Andy and Kim Nowicki are also parishioners at St. Cecilia's. They've been married for 10 years and have 3 children. Kim was in Tom and Gail's RCIA class and converted to the faith.
They are exactly what we aspire to be, you know. I mean, they're a couple who are very true to their faith, but most especially they're true to each other, you know, and it shows how much they love and respect each other. And you don't see that all the time.
Andy was raised Catholic, but learned so much about his faith as Kim was in RCIA, he's now a candidate for the permanent diaconate.
Marriage is, it's supposed to model Christ's love for the church, and Christ was all about, Christ was about love and serving others. So when you get married, not only do I have the feelings of love, but it should also be a love driven to serve Kimberly, and then likewise, hopefully her love drives her to serve me, and if we're both serving each other, it's a good model of what the Trinity is.
Andy and Kim are following in Tom and Gail's footsteps. They teach pre-Cana classes, and like Tom and Gail, they hope to witness to Christ's love through their vocation, and they hope to encourage other couples to invite Christ in.
I will love you and honor you all the days of my life.
Reporting for Reel to Reel, I'm Carolee McGrath.
And we'd like to send out congratulations and best wishes to Adrian and Lorraine Lapointe, who were recognized by the Worldwide Marriage Encounter for their almost 70-year marriage. The couple, who wed in the former Nativity Church in Chicopee, now are members at Our Lady of the Blessed Sacrament Parish in Westfield. They say the secret to a long marriage is having fun and never going to bed angry. They say they always say, "I love you" each night. And for this week, that's Reel to Reel. Remember, you can stay informed on all of the latest happenings in the Catholic Church, locally and beyond, by visiting our news and information website, iobserve.org. There you will find articles written by Catholic Communications reporters, as well as stories from the award-winning Catholic News Service. You can also find daily videos and full episodes of Reel to Reel. That's iobserve.org. And join me again next week at this same time for another edition of Reel to Reel, your window on the world around you.
Reel to Reel is a production of the Catholic Communications Corporation, funded in part by the annual Catholic Appeal, and the support of you, our faithful viewers.